You learned last year when we used Excel that Excel is very good at doing math computations. Well, Excel is also very good at storing information and sorting information. Now, we'll get to the sorting part of that in another lesson, but to start with, we are going to put some information in Excel, and in A1, we're going to type name. In B1, we're going to type addresses or address. Let's just go address. In C1, we're going to put city. In D1, we're going to put state. And in E1, we're going to put zip, as in zip code. Okay? And now we're going to put our friends' names and addresses in the following lines. So let's say that our first friend is named Freddie. Now, you could also make a column that's just said like Mr., Miss, what their doctor, whatever their title is, and a column for their first name and a column for their last name, and it would make things a little bit more. You have a little bit more flexibility on your sorting, but that's not what we're not going to need to get that detailed. So Freddie lives at 23 Main Street, and I should capitalize Main. And it's sticking over just a little bit too far, so you probably remember that right between B and C, right between the top there, you can grab that and make that a little bit more wider. Let's say that Freddie lives in Maxwell, and that's Indiana, and the zip code is 46154. Okay, now our next friend is, let's say, Billy. Billy lives at 24 Main Street, and I keep failing to capitalize Main, and it's important that we do things right, and I still messed it up. There we go. And let's say Billy lives in Greenfield, and it's not quite wide enough for Greenfield, so we're going to stick this right between C and D and move that over a little bit, and that's Indiana, and 46154. I actually should put state up here instead of Indiana. Alright, and let's say that our next friend is Mary, and Mary lives at 25 Main Street in, let's say, Maxwell, and that's Indiana, and that's 46154. And this address is wrong, 4614. Oh, the zip code. Alright. And let's say that Susie is our fourth friend. It lives at 26 Main Street, Greenfield, Indiana, 46140. Alright, so there are our friends. I actually do this. My husband and I send, I don't know, 150, maybe 200 Christmas cards every year, and we have all of the information in Excel, and we, just update the information when somebody moves, or I want to add somebody, but we don't sit and hand write out the addresses. Some people do, but we don't. So we're just going to go File, Save As. You're going to save it in My Documents as Friends Addresses. My friends' addresses. And simply click, I'm going to put mine on my desktop. You're going to put yours in My Documents. Friends' addresses, save. Okay, now I'm going to close this, and you won't get that little error message right there, and hopefully that will behave correctly. And we're going to then open up Publisher. Now we're going to print labels, mailing labels, so that we can print this out. So we're going to go to Labels, and these are all templates that are already done for you that just look awesome. And we're going to click on All Mailing and Shipping. I think this actual folder might appear over here on your far right hand side when you're at school, but click on All Mailing and Shipping. Now, something you need to understand is these are all templates on specific sized labels. This one is Ambassador is the design, and Avery 5160, that is the specific dimensions of that label that is made by the company that is called Avery. So when you would go to the store to buy your labels, you would need to buy Avery brand labels that has 5160 on it. Here's another one that's still Avery 5160. It's just a different design. That's why it says Batik instead of Ambassador. This is another one, Garden. Okay, so you're looking, this is the label, brand, and label number. So you're getting the right, it's important that you get the right one. So we're going to click on Ambassador Avery 5160, click Create. There are 30 labels per page, so this is obviously very, very large. This is actually about 600% of the view is about 600%. So we don't want all this information here. So just like we did on the donkey, horse, the eating the carrots business card that we made, click on the border of the text box, the dotted line. Click on that once and hit delete on your keyboard. We want to get rid of this yellow design also. Click on that and get rid of that. And the Rampart Lion, click on that and delete. Now we have a blank label here that we can design however we want to do it. Now this next part is where you are going to get lost if you are not paying attention. So please pay attention, because this might get just a little bit hairy. You've got to follow the instructions and look and see and catch on to what we're doing. We're going to go up here to mailings. Alright, and then we're going to go over to mail merge, and we're going to click on the bottom part of that. We have two options, mail merge or step-by-step mail merge wizard. Anytime you're not sure what you're doing and you have a wizard available, that's basically just a helper. That's a good idea. So we're going to click on step-by-step mail merge wizard, and here it is over here. This is our wizard. Okay, it's important to look right here at create recipient list. The recipient is who are we sending these to. This top one says, do you want to use an existing list that you have somewhere? That is what we want to use, because we have a list in Excel. So we're going to leave that marked. We're going to go down here to the bottom and click on next. Okay, now under this data source, the data source is basically just saying, all right, where's your list? Yours is in my documents. Mine's in my desktop. Pull this down. Here it is. And we're going to click on open. Now this next one, this is specific to Excel, whether it says sheet 1 $, sheet 2 $. This does not matter. Don't change anything. We're just going to go OK. All right, now this is anybody with a check mark. These are my 4 friends that's in that list. If you did not want to include one of these people in our mailing labels, let's say that person's, in Zimbabwe and you're not going to send something to them, you would uncheck that. Well, all of our friends are not in Zimbabwe. They're all here, so we're going to use all of them. All right. So now we're just going to click OK. Now, next we need to insert our fields of information onto our label. So over here on the right-hand side, under prepare your publication, click on name. Now notice that it said, all right, this is where the name is going to go. It didn't say Freddie or Billy or Susie, because it's just saying that name field in Excel when we named it name. It's just saying, okay, that one's there. All right, we're going to hit enter because we want their name and then their address underneath it. So we'll, on our keyboard, hit enter. We want their address, so we're going to click that. And we're going to hit enter because we want the city to be underneath our address. We're going to go click on city. Now don't hit enter. Between city and state on the label, we are going to want a comma and a space. So we're going to need to type that in there. So here's a comma, there's a space. Then right after that space, we want the state. And it's okay that it put it underneath there. We can make our little text box wider and it'll put it back up there. And then really, we might want the zip code out here to the side. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go enter, and then we're going to insert our zip code. Okay? Remember that this is very, very magnified, so it's not actually going to be this big. If you wanted to change the font and made it get fancy or bold or a different size, you would then select all of these and go to the home tab, and this is a time that you could do that. We can also do it later. So we're going to go up here to finish and merge, and then we're going to click on merge to the printer, and it's preparing it just a little bit. Now, this is something that it just takes a little while to figure out. If you can see our example here, I told you that there were 30 labels per sheet. You can see there's 3 columns. There are 10 per. So we have 30 labels that all go to Freddie. Well, that's not what we need. We need one that goes to Freddie and one that goes to Billy. So how we change that is over here. Don't click print because you're just going to get 30 mailing labels to Freddie. Okay, you're going to go over here to where it says multiple copies per sheet. That's what this is. That's not what we want. Click on that. We want it, the one that says multiple pages per sheet. Now, how many friends did we have? We had 4. Click on that. There's our 4. There's Freddie's label. There's Billy's label. There's Mary's labels. There's Susie's label. And if we had 30 friends, they would all be here and they would all be different. Okay? Now, before we print this, let's say, you know what, I think I want to put a little clip art on there, or I want to change the font. Just don't click print. We'll go over to home and we can select all of our information. We can make it centered, and that goes centered within the text box. We can go over here and make the font different. I kind of like Arial. I think Arial is very, very easy to read. So I'll go Arial, and maybe you want to just make Susie's name bigger than all the rest of it a little bit, or maybe you want the name of the person to be bold. Let's say we even wanted to, and I'll make this a little smaller so you can see the whole thing. We can move this text box over just a little bit to make us a little more room. Now we could add a little clip art. So we'll go Insert, Clip Art. And let's say that we wanted like a fall, maybe a Halloween sort of picture. And maybe just wanted this one that says Happy Halloween. So we'll click on that. Uh-oh, it went right on top of our, no problem. You know how to do this very well. Just move it over. Now it's a nice little, and if you got a colored printer, it'll be a nice little splash of color on there. Okay, if you don't like that one, you can do another one. So then we go back over here to File. Had a little glitch there. We'll go back over to File. We'll go to Print, and there we have Freddie's label with the little clip art on it. Notice that Freddie's a little bit more bold, a little bit bigger. Billy, Mary, Susie, you would simply go Print. But if you actually wanted to do this on labels and you had labels, you would then put your labels in the printer, usually face down, but I always have to try it a couple times before I get it right. And then you would click Print. Please click on File, Save As, and mine's not working, but you go File, Save As, name this your last name Friend Labels.